Good morning, everybody, and happy Monday. Happy Monday. I hope everyone had a great weekend. This was a holiday weekend, 4th of July weekend. So I hope everyone was able to, really take advantage of, some extra time off, just to, not just do work, but just to be able to enjoy your family, friends, and just kind of rejuvenate yourself so that way you can do the work that you do. So welcome back to this week, a new week. The 8th of the month of July already. So we're into the second month of the third quarter. So time is really moving. Time is really, really moving. So, as I mentioned before, for those of you who, continuously follow my content that I provide each and every week. I want to thank you so much for coming back for another week to, listen to additional content that I would love to provide to you and your organization. And for those that are new to my page, I want to say welcome to my page. And let me go ahead and introduce myself so that way you know who I am and what it is that I do for nonprofit organizations. My name is Asia Nasir, and I am the founder and nonprofit strategist, certified grant writer, and certified fundraising specialist for my consulting firm, Utopian Enterprise Business Solutions, where my particular mission for my consulting firm is to truly assist aspiring or new founders of nonprofit organizations and existing nonprofit organizations fulfill their missions in real time. So I'm here each and every week providing content. I've also written a book, Nonprofit Doesn't Mean No Profit, which you can find on Amazon. So I want to get right into this week's content, this week's content. And what brought me to this particular conversation that we're going to have today is I met with two of my clients, and they're new clients to me, and they seem to have the same issue. And I'm finding that it's not just my two clients, but also with other nonprofit organizations. When I do initial consultation, it seems to be a theme. And so it's something that I want to talk about. So today we're going to be discussing mastering excellence, how to elevate your service delivery through continuous quality improvement. So a lot of times when we hear the word customer service or service delivery, we think that that's what it means, customer service. How you talk to people on the phone, how it is that you treat your recipients as they come through the door. We kind of, just box it into that category. Well, I'm not talking about that today. What I'm talking about as far as mastering excellence regarding your nonprofit organization and elevating your nonprofit's service delivery, I want to share what that means. So nonprofit service delivery, for what we're discussing today, is referring to the processes and the activities or the systems that your nonprofit provides its recipients or, the community that you serve. So let's just stop there. Referring to the processes and the systems that you have in place in order to deliver what it is that you say you want to deliver to said recipients or the community that you're serving. A lot of times when I say that this is what I'm referring to, you have to ask yourself as a nonprofit organization, do you have processes in place and do you have systems in place in order to provide some level of service or quality service? And a lot of nonprofits, especially grassroots nonprofits, don't. But it doesn't mean because you are a grassroots nonprofit, it's something that you should not be doing, because there are ways, and that's what I'm going to be sharing, 5 strategies and ways in which you can do that. So whether you have a small budget or you have a large budget, you still should be able to have processes and systems in place in order to provide whatever it is that you say you're going to be able to do and how you're going to be able to do that. So the process or the systems is referring to the planning of whatever it is that you're doing for the recipients of your organization or the community at large, right? The planning of it, the implementing of whatever it is that you're doing, and then evaluating. This is the most important part, the evaluation part of the delivery of whatever that service or program that it is that you're talking about. So that's what it is, planning, the implementing, and the evaluating of one could be a program. If your organization is offering educational programs, how are you planning those? Do you have a process in place and how you plan to facilitate those programs? What's included in the planning of it? Who's involved in the program itself? The implementing of it. Who's going to be facilitating? Who's going to be involved? Is it a one-person show or is it a team of educators? And the evaluating of it. What is the results of what it is that you provided? If you providing social service or advocacy, planning, the implementing, and the evaluating. What is your process and what system do you have in place in order to maximize your service delivery, right? So that is what I'm referring to. So I'm not talking about just customer service. I'm talking more on a higher level of when we're providing those services, what those service delivery, what processes and systems do you have in place? So for those of you that are listening and saying, well, I really don't have a process in place, I really don't have a system in place to assess our service delivery, and much less improve on it. So that's the 5 strategies that we're going to be talking about this morning, because it makes a difference. And the difference that it makes and the importance of doing it is the goal of any nonprofit organization when you start is because you see that there's an issue, there's a void somewhere. So your organization is saying, we want to pick up the torch and say, we're going to either eradicate, decrease, or improve in some way, whatever that void is, right? So the impact that you make is extremely important. Now, how are you measuring? What process do you have in place in order to ensure that that mission of your organization, the service delivery, what you want to provide to the community, is actually being done? So we can have it in theory in our mind, but are we actually implementing it? Is it coming out and having the impact that we wanted to have, which is why we started the nonprofit? So I can't wait to dig in. So let's just do that. I have 5 strategies this morning that I want to share with you in order for your organization to be able to do that. So if you have a pen and paper, start writing this down. So the first strategy is to implement what I call feedback loops, or implement some type of system where you are obtaining feedback. Now, I'm not talking about a hit and miss every now and then. I'm talking about a consistent system in which your nonprofit organization is gathering feedback. And the first and foremost, you want to gather feedback from your recipients, the ones that are receiving your services or your programs or whatever it is that you're offering. You want to get a consistent feedback from them. You also want to get feedback from your volunteers. They're at the events, they're at the programs. What is their observation of how whatever it is that you're providing is being implemented? Is it, what's happening? Is it smooth? Did it go as planned? Is there some hiccups? Is there some areas of improvement? So you want to get from both perspectives. Obviously, you want to get the recipients, because if it's not impacting them or they're not finding whatever it is that you're offering beneficial, that's a problem, right? And obviously, you want to get from a different lens, from internal. How are we implementing whatever it is that we're servicing? Is it going as planned? Is it smooth? Is it convenient? Is it hard for the recipients to be able to get it? What are they hearing when they're in the event or the program or whatever it is that you're offering? What are they hearing and what's happening, right? So one ways in which you can do that, and again, doesn't have to be where you have to have a huge budget for this. You can have just a regular form, a survey, and there's samples of different surveys that you can pick just for Googling, and you can pick which one you think works best for your organization, and you can create that for your nonprofit organization, so that at every event, every program, every presentation or anything that you do, you are actually now taking a survey. That consistency, again, you're getting a survey giving you consistent feedback on how it is that the service quality or what it is that you wanted to provide your recipient, is it hitting the mark? Is it making that impact? And or even interviewing, have random interviews. You have some motivational speakers that after they do their motivational speaking or their workshop or whatever, they get, someone on their team to start taking video testimonials. What did you take away from this? What did you gain from this? How is this going to impact your life, right? What two things you're going to actually start implementing right now, and record it. Get that feedback so that way you can actually hear how it's impacting the individuals. And it could be, where you're interviewing somebody after a program. Maybe you have a 12-week program or a 6-month program. Now you're asking them from at the beginning, you're getting those video testimonials, but now you're also or video interviews, I should say. And then you're getting another video interview at the end. What has transformed in their life? So getting that consistent feedback as to what's happening. So this is what I would tell you to do when you're getting that or asking for that type of feedback. Ask for 2 types of feedbacks. What's called make sure the questions are quantitative and qualitative. So the quantitative is basically you're getting survey, just the data aspect of it. Really, you don't have to speak to someone regarding that. The data is how many people participated in the program, how many people are you servicing, what it is that you're offering, how often do you offer it, right? That's the quantitative, that's the numbers. You want to get the numbers, the data. This is important information because they're going to ask you this on grant applications. If you're speaking to a sponsor, they want to know who it is that you're helping, and it doesn't matter if it's a small number or not. Here is what they're also looking for, is the qualitative aspect of it. This is where you are now getting the emotion from those surveys. How is this impacting your life? What was your perception of the program? Was it implemented in a way that you could best receive the information? Are there suggestions on how we can improve? This is the quality of whatever it is that you're offering. If it's a service, is it hard for them to be able to get the help that they need? Or have you streamlined a process or system in place in order for them, the recipients, to be able to receive what it is that you want them to receive from your organization? So those are 2 types of questions that you're going to be asking in your consistent feedback. And I keep highlighting consistent because you don't want this to be a hit and miss. You want to be able to implement a system and a process within your organization that is consistently receiving feedback, because you're consistently providing a service or program to different people. So you want to be able to see, is there a consistency? So that's strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 is I like to use this approach, but there's 2 approaches actually. But the initial approach is strategy number 2, which is set SMART goals. And the SMART is in acronyms. For some of you who may not be familiar with what that is, a lot of us who've either gone to college or, taken some type of business course, what SMART, a SMART analysis is. But for some of you who don't, let me explain. So if your organization is creating a SMART goal, the SMART in the acronym stand for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, right? So you want to make sure that whatever goals you have is fitting within those, five words. Is it being very specific, not broad? Specific, measurable. How do you measure the success of your program or your service? Is it achievable in the time frame in which you're looking to achieve it? Is it relevant to what's needed in your community? Is our mission working in real time? And time bound. What time frame are you giving your organization to be able to accomplish these things? So that's a smart goal. What you want to do is now transfer that to your service delivery, what I was talking about, your programs, your systems in place, the service delivery. You want to make sure that you are reviewing regularly. Now, what I can say at minimum should be quarterly for your nonprofit organization. It should be something that's on a quarterly basis. At minimum, should be on a quarterly basis where you are actually regularly reviewing your SMART goals and saying, as a board of, as a board, having a meeting, are we hitting this mark? Are we doing this? Right? And then if you're not, making the necessary adjustments, because there's no point in reviewing something if you're not going to change it, if you see a need or a requirement at this point to be able to make some adjustments. So you want to make the adjustments and then implement again a process and a system in place for the adjustment to make sure that it is happening consistently. So that's strategy number 2. Strategy number 3 is, and this is something that's very important. A lot of times we just want to take word of mouth, but I would say go further and invest. This is why I'm saying invest, because a lot of times, especially as small grassroots nonprofits, we look at everything as a cost, right? And while it is, technically a cost, what we should really be looking at it so that way our mindset changes in order for us to be able to do what's necessary in order to make our nonprofit impactful is invest. And what I'm talking about investing is strategy number 2. Invest in some type of data analytics, something that is going to actually, from a system perspective, create like a CRM type of system where you can analyze trends, what's changing, within the recipients that are coming in the community in which you are. Has something changed? Is something consistently changing, or something has happened that is changing things? What is the outcomes of your programs, your service, what it is that you're offering, right? Looking for the impact, looking to see, are there any strengths? Is there something consistent that you are getting from your data? Is your programs consistently growing? Why is it growing? What is it? Is the thing that your recipients or your staff love the most from what it is that you're providing, that is a strength of your organization? But then you also want to get data analytics to show what's a weakness. Do you have like a up and down, like an airplane, up, down, of people participating in your organization? So they start with receiving whatever it is, but they don't stay till the end to actually benefit from your programs. And why is that happening? So be able to get some type of data analysis so that way you can maybe reach back out to some of those recipients and say, hey, we noticed you're not coming back, you're not doing this or whatever. So that way you can get that. Same thing with your volunteers. You get a pool of volunteers, but then they drop off. Why? Why is that happening? What's happening within the infrastructure of your nonprofit that is creating, things changing? But there should be some type of data so that way it's accurate. That quantitative, results that I'm talking about, data analytics, like getting a system, a software in place for you to be able to do that is really important. So, I would definitely invest in something like that. Now, your organization can do a fundraiser once they find a software or a template that they want to use. Do a fundraiser if you don't have the money. Do something specific to be able to invest in something like that. So that way, moving forward, you have a streamlined process. So remember the actual implementing, the planning, and all of that, your service quality. How are you doing that? A system in place. You can have it in a literal sense. What system do you have in place in order for you to be able to analyze your service quality or your service delivery? Is it really, what it is that you want it to be? So that's strategy number 3. Strategy number 4 is promote a culture within your organization, between your volunteers, between, more importantly, your board of directors, and then the chain of command, your volunteers as well. Create a corporate culture within your nonprofit organization for learning, and what I love is innovation. So let's break that down. Create a culture for learning. And what I mean by that is create a culture where your organization is consistently learning new and better ways in order to have that quality or that service delivery top notch. So have experts come in, someone like myself or someone else who is a nonprofit consultant, come in and be able to train you. So maybe someone from, who does data analytics, maybe come in and show you the importance of how your organization can benefit from being able to capture this information and how to capture this information. So, creating a culture where your organization knows anyone who comes in, whether it's they're serving on the board or whether they're a volunteer, they know this is a culture that is consistently learning and wanting to learn how to do things better, because it's not just working harder, it's working smarter, right? But then innovation, be open, be an organization that welcomes innovative ideas. And that can come from not necessarily outside, that can come from internal, from the people that's already within your organization. So have an open door policy for your volunteers and for your board of directors to be able to say, hey, I'm noticing this and I have a suggestion where we can, our service delivery can be better. And then have that open door policy for people to feel free to be able to give suggestions to do things in a better way and in a more efficient way. And this is how you maintain continuous quality improvement. You want to be able to improve all the time. As a nonprofit organization, things are changing, externally, how we promote, how we market, how we advertise, how we ask for donations, how we fundraise, especially after COVID. So much has changed. So we need to be able to be an organization that can adapt to change in order for us to improve our service delivery. Okay, so that's strategy number 4, is creating a culture where your organization and the people within know that this is a learning, this is a growing, this is an organization that loves to evolve for the better. So strategy number 5, and this is my final strategy to provide to you today, which is collaborate and network. Collaborate and network with other nonprofit organizations that you see are doing a great job. Thank you so much, Tariq. I see you here, and thank you for that comment. Collaborate and network. So what I mean is collaborate and network. If at first network and put yourself in a position where you are in spaces and places that would allow you to network with other nonprofit organizations. And through that networking, what you're able to do is, speak to other nonprofit organizations, ask them questions, talk to them, and see how they're doing things. And what this allows you to do is to be able to get a fresh perspective on maybe systems that they're using, processes that they're using within their organization, that you can actually say, hey, you know what? This is a great idea. Now, I have a coach, and he taught me something that I was like, yeah, this is something that's going to stay with me forever. He said, there's nothing wrong with being a copycat as long as you copy the right cat. And that is the truth. So if you have a nonprofit organization that you're seeing like, wow, they're able to implement an area efficiently that we are struggling with, there's a weakness, there's a deficiency, and being able to talk and network with that other nonprofit organization, this is a way where you can gain some fresh new perspectives on how you can actually change that. Maybe collaborate with other organizations that you feel that you have an alignment with, of course, but that you can actually learn from and gain best practices. So you can come back to your organization and have those evaluations on how did that go, what did you see, and how can we implement it within our organization to improve on our service delivery. Because at the end of the day, your goal, as I mentioned in the onset of this discussion, is you want to be able to fill a void. You want to be able to be as efficient as you can, because nonprofits, we're dealing with social issues, things that can truly impact people's lives, whether it's food insecurity, whether it's behavioral issues with our youth, whether it's domestic violence, whatever it is that your nonprofit is doing, there's a void in your community that you're wanting to eradicate. You're wanting to improve the quality of life of people. So the processes and your planning, your implementing and evaluating also has to be quality in order to be able to be a resource for your recipients to be able to have that transformative experience to change the quality of their life. So these are the 5 strategies that I wanted to share with you this morning. And if there's something that you hear that you're like, hey, you know what, our organization needs to make some improvement in this area, again, have this on your itinerary for your next board of directors meeting, or schedule, to have this discussion in the near future near the operative word, near future with your board of directors, so that way you can start implementing it, because there's no benefit to what it is you're learning unless you implement it. So make it a point, be intentional about meeting your group, your team, and being able to make the changes, the necessary adjustments that you need to make, and learning from today's 5 strategies where you can improve to make your service delivery better. Because at the end of the day, it's all about impact. It's all about impact for your recipients. How are you transforming their life? It's all about impact for board of directors and volunteers to say, we are volunteering our time, taking away from our family to be a part of something that's making a difference. And then it's all about impact when it comes to your grant funding and your donors. They want to know that if I'm putting money into your organization, that it is going to have an impact, and that my money is just a facilitation of you being able to create that impact. So it's all about impact at the end of the day. So make sure you're being intentional, make sure that you're being purposeful about everything that you're doing, so that way you can fulfill the mission that I live for when it comes to Utopian Enterprise, my consulting firm, which is fulfilling your mission in real time. That's what it's all about. So again, I hope that this was beneficial for you. If you're looking to have one of those type of trainings with your team to be able to analyze where you are, where you need to be, and then, providing some suggestions specific to your nonprofit organization. As I mentioned before, I work with organizations wanting to do some team training, consistent, whether it's quarterly, but I can provide that type of training for your executive team, for your volunteer pool, to be able to be more efficient in what it is that they do to make your organization more impactful. So if you would like to reach out to me for one-on-one consultation, you can go to my website at Utopian Enterprise Biz, that's biz.com, and hit book consultation, and then we can analyze where you are, where you want to be, and then I can make some recommendations and we can take it from there. So again, stay tuned for next week, because I will have more nonprofit content for anyone tuning in. And if you know someone who can benefit, and like, boy, they should have heard this, tag them, share this video, because sharing is caring. And I'll see you all next week for another video, another content for nonprofit organizations that are really looking to make an impact in their community. See you soon, and have a great week.